Okay, so we are live now. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to have Gunjan Aggarwal with me today. She's in 12th grade now, but when she started her mathematical Olympiad journey, she was quite young. I think she was in 6th or 7th grade. Is that right, Gunjan? When did you start?
Great.
5th grade. Oh my God. She was really young. Some of you may know Gunjan's elder sister Anushka. She also did mathematical Olympiad stuff, and then Gunjan joined. I very well I remember like discussing this with your mother, uh, and oh my God, 6 years have passed. That's a long time. Okay, but so she did a couple of years of Olympiad stuff with Chinta, and then she went on to do it on her own, and she did it very successfully. She has been ranking in the European Girls Math Olympiad (EGMO) for several years. I think this is the third year. Is that right? Or second year or third year? Okay. And she's also ranking in the Indian National Math Olympiad, which is I think she went to IMOTC. Is that right? Did you go to IMOTC this year? Okay. She also went to IMO training camp. So she's been doing really well. So I decided to have a session with Gunjan and understand the journey and in a little informal way. So before we go into all the nitty gritties of preparing for Olympiad and stuff like that, can you tell me, Gunjan, about a little bit about yourself? Like, what do you like to do? What are the things that you do other than mathematics? Do you do anything else?
Uh, so I like to paint, and sometimes when I'm tired of painting, I do digital art. I also try to write some poetry. I'm not that great, but I try to write stuff.
Really?
And
You can
yeah,
share some with us. We would like to love to read some. Yeah.
like
So
right
you
now.
no, no, not right now, maybe, but but yeah, eventually. I mean, I actually love to read poetries of my students. Many of them shared them with me. I'm not a very good connoisseur in art, but I would like to see that as well. So you do these two things apart from doing math. Is that okay? So you've been doing this for quite a long time, since 5th grade. So tell me about which part of this Olympiad journey now intrigues you most. Like which part, like in the sense geometry, algebra, and so on.
I think my favorite part would be combinatorics,
Okay.
as the ideas are really nice and unique in every single problem. And other than that, I like algebra, which is like the polar opposite of that, but yeah, I like both of them.
Wow. No, I would say that there is a lot of intersections of algebra and combinatorics as well. But I see what you're saying. Like algebra also involves certain dry computations,
Yeah,
and, and combinatorics really involves coming up with a slick idea that can
exactly.
work. No problem. Yeah. So, what books in combinatorics have you been doing? Like, maybe you can say something.
Um, I haven't been doing many books in combinatorics.
Okay.
I did a lot of ISL, like the INMO shortlist problems,
I'm a
and
shortlist.
a bunch of Russian problems, and yeah, I didn't really follow some particular book for those.
Okay. So this is very curious. I mean, IMO shortlist problems, those of you do not know this, that International Math Olympiad, which is like the greatest show of mathematics, greatest competition of mathematics for school kids, has a short list and a long list. So what happens is that every year from different countries, uh, people send problems to the IMO committee, and this is sometimes known as the long list. then they shortlist some of the problems from that, and finally 6 of those problems are actually put in the International Math Olympiad. So IMO shortlist problems can be regarded as of same standard as IMO itself, International Math Olympiad itself. So these are really hard, but before you went to that level, many of our viewers are just starting out with this journey. So, what books you followed at that level, like in fifth grade, sixth grade, that helped you?
So I'm not gonna lie, I used to hate combinatorics earlier. Like I was really bad at it.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
yeah, I avoided it for like a major part of my Olympiad journey because I thought I wouldn't be able to do it. But recently I started doing more of it and I actually really like it.
Okay.
So I started with very basic like RMO problems and some computational problems. And I kind of, when I got a hang of those, I went to the INMO problems. I started from like the older years, and then I kept solving most of those. And when I got comfortable with that level, I moved on to the first and second, like C1 and C2s of ISLs, and then I kept like
So
increasing
let
the
me
level.
ask you a little bit more about this. So when you started with the RMO problems, which grade RMO? Those of you who are viewing now, let me explain that RMO is Regional Math Olympiad. It is the first level of mathematical Olympiads in India. It usually contains 6 problems that you have to solve in a period of 3 hours, a little bit more sometimes, different depending on which year you're taking it. So there are 6 problems. You have to write down full solutions to those problems. So did you start with RMO problems when you were in like sixth grade or fifth grade? Is that when you started it?
So I wrote my first RMO in seventh grade. So
Okay,
obviously I looked at most of the RMO problems at that time, but
okay,
I couldn't really solve them. So I just skipped the whole combinatoric subject that time. But
right.
in eighth grade, I got a little more serious about it, and then I started actually solving those.
So, what did you used to do? I mean, I'm sure you must have been stuck with a ton of RMO level problems before you can actually solve them. So, did that happen? Like, did you get stuck with the problem for a
Yeah,
long time?
I used to get stuck a lot, and that was really frustrating at that point because, like, I wasn't really that good, so I didn't even know if I could ever solve it. And
So,
yeah,
what is
so
the longest period of time that you have been stuck with the problem, like in the RMO level, like at seventh grade, let's say?
I don't particularly do one problem only for a very long time. I switch
Okay,
between problems if I'm not able to solve them.
okay,
But I remember like trying a problem from some hard source. I think it was the ISL in sixth grade, and
sixth
obviously I
grade.
wasn't able to solve it. But
Right.
in eighth grade, when I was trying some problems from there, I realized that I had seen that before, and when I solved it, I felt really happy.
Wow. Yeah, that's a very good feeling, isn't it? When it finally clicks. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, many of the students who are at Cheenta right now, they get really worried when they are unable to solve a problem after trying for 15 minutes, let's say. And I mean, I think Gunjan will agree that a problem can take a lot of time. I mean, might not even get solved within a day. It's you have to like come back to it over and over again. As Gunjan mentioned that she tried the problem in sixth grade, it stayed in her brain in some sense, in a convoluted. When she came back in eighth grade and tried it again, in a sense, it took 2 years to process that one problem. Huh? She was not thinking for 2 years, but yeah, I hope you get the point. Yeah. So, what about the other areas like geometry? And many students are very afraid of geometry. Can you tell me something about that?
So I really liked geometry when I was little. Like I love geometry now also, but it was my favorite when I was younger because it's kind of related to the geometry we study in school.
Right.
So I was a little more comfortable with geometry than other subjects because they just like exponentially increase their hardness.
Right.
So in geometry, I did the book Challenges and Thrills of Pre-College Math, the
Okay.
third and fourth chapter, and that really helped me a lot because I was very confident with my geometry at that time after doing that. I
Right.
won't say it's the best book, but it helped me a lot, so it's probably good. So
Yeah, it is a very good selection of problems, the
yeah,
challenges and thrills of pre-college mathematics. We recommend it all the time to our students actually. Did you do any other problem sheet or book after that on geometry specifically? Or
after
you
that, I did the EGMO book by Evanchan.
Ivan Chen's EGMO book? Yeah. Okay.
I would say that's a little bit harder than pre-college
Right.
because that's more Olympiad style.
Mhm.
And after that, I basically just solved random problems. I didn't particularly do a book.
So, I mean, solving problems, I would say, is the most important thing, and getting stuck in that and staying in that, coming back to it over and over again. So, did you find yourself reading solutions a lot, or did you just, okay? So, tell us a little bit more about that because some students are not comfortable to read solutions, some are. What is your style?
So, in geometry at least, I try not to read solutions because um, it's more like for me, my mindset for geometry is if it doesn't require anything fancy or something that I don't know of, I should be able to solve it if I spend enough time. So I don't tend to read a lot of solutions. I do take hints from people, but I don't really read solutions.
So, you
But
like talk to people in some
yeah,
sense. Okay.
and for combinatorics, I read solutions a lot for combinatorics because not just it helps with the problems, it's really fun to kind of read the solutions and look at the ideas. So
Right.
whenever I'm bored, I just pick a really hard problem for combinatorics and read its solution.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this is a very nice thing actually. I think after a stage when you are really starting to solve the problems on your own, then you read solutions to just see the style of the problem solver. And some problems have like really novel ideas, like really cool ideas, one can say, right? And those are like pretty interesting. So, Gunjan has taught at Chinta as well for some time. Like we invited her. I think last year. I think last year, this year itself, you taught a few classes, right?
Yeah.
Or last year maybe. Yeah. And she will be teaching again at Chinta. We invite students all the time to teach, and we believe that someone who has done INMO level and EGMO level work for so many years is as good a teacher as anyone else. So we are very excited to have Gunjan with this entire process. There is a little initiative at Chinta, which I must admit it's not very active at the moment. It's called the Center for Mathematics for Girls, because I must explain why girls, like, why is it so special? Why do we focus on that? uh, it's really the case that, unfortunate, I guess, the case that in India, actually, it's the worldwide phenomena that the proportion of people who are women in mathematics is smaller than men. There are many historical reasons for this. Whatever it is, that is the case. If you just take the hard data, then you will see that the proportion of men is more and the proportion of women is less. One example is that the most prestigious prize in mathematics, called the Fields Medal, has been won by only one woman till date, Maria Mirzakhani, and all the remaining people were men. This has been more of a historical thing, than it's about capabilities. And nowadays, many women are doing fantastic mathematics. And Gunjan and her sister Anushka, uh, both Anushka also did really well with mathematical Olympiads. She is now, I think, in MIT. Is that right? Anushka is in MIT? Right. Anushka is in MIT. So both of them, I talked to them and I told them, let's start this thing, a special thing for girls. Girls, of course, everyone can enjoy it. So Anushka, Gunjan might be doing some more activities there. I have put the link of it in the description. So Gunjan, tell me a little bit more about EGMO itself. So it's called European Girls Math Olympiad. So where does it take place, and how do you participate in it?
So um, every year it's in like a different country in Europe. So this year, like 2023, it was in Slovenia, and next year it's in Georgia. So how to participate in EGMO? The process is pretty much same till the IMOTC. Like you first have to qualify IPM, then RMO, then INMO, and then there like it's a recent addition to the Olympiad system. But now we'll have a TST camp in December. So
Okay,
well, every girl who qualified INMO will write the TSTs, and the top four will be the team of EGMO.
okay. So this is basically sent by the Indian government, or rather the organizing committee. So you have to clear INMO. Up to that, everything is same, and then you take a test, another test, TST, and then you go to EGMO. So you did go to Slovenia, I think, right?
Yeah,
Was it fun? Tell us about it a little bit.
it was like the best week of my life.
Really?
So,
Okay.
yeah,
So tell us
so
more about it. Yeah.
so it was I think 6 days long. So on the first day we just arrived, and it wasn't that great. Like it was just casual. On the second day we had the opening ceremony and a few activities. Then the next 2 days we had contests, and then we had some excursions and the closing ceremony, and then we had the after party. But my favorite was the after party because it was like after the contest, just a chill time, and like it was super chill.
Wow. Very nice. How many countries participated in it in EGMO?
I don't know the exact number, but around 50 countries and
50 countries.
around 200 participants.
Wow. So four from each country. Okay.
Yeah.
So India also sent four people, I believe. Wow. That's very nice. So in a sense that Gunjan was among the first four people from India to go there, which is fantastic. I have a question from the audience. Let's take it. So, how do I develop mathematical thinking for new problems? This is a very common question because once they come from school level to Olympiad level math, they are worried that how do I even start thinking about it? So, can you give us some hints, Gunjan?
So I guess the Olympiad problems can look a little intimidating at first, but the more you try and kind of get used to them, you'll get the ideas much more quickly. But it's really important to just like not give up and just stick to the problem, try more, and if you're really stuck, just see the solution and get some ideas. But just don't give up.
So, that's great. So, let us close. I would say that we will learn a lot from Gunjan, I hope. And just one thing, one additional thing to mention, I made a mistake that she actually was an INMO awardee for 4 consecutive years. I actually say two. So I think she started in class 8 when 2020, right? Is that correct? 2020 in class 8, she was the first time she got into INMO. That's a really young age. Like she must have been one of the youngest youngest, at least youngest girls, I think, to
Yeah.
get in INMO. Okay, so that's awesome. And then 2021, 22, 23, 4 consecutive years she was in INMO. and it's really nice to talk to Gunjan. We will keep on talking to her in the upcoming classes. She will be taking one of the INMO problem solving sessions from either next week. I think that's what's happening. So normal 5 6 classes that we have for INMO level, she will take one of them, and we have more plans. Hopefully, more stuff will be done together. Thank you, Gunjan, for your time today, and I hope all the students who watched learned something. And maybe we can do some of these chats from time to time. It's fun as well, and people learn a lot. Okay, all right. Thank you, Gunjan. Bye, bye, everyone. Take care.